call the April 5th meeting of the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals to order. My name is Ken Foreman. I'm the current chair. Let me begin by asking everyone to silence your cell phones. I'll introduce the board, starting with Robert Dugan, who is an associate member of the board, and Paul Murphy, who's a voting member of the board, Ed Van Kuren, who's a voting member of the board, and shortly to arrive is going to be TJ Hurry, who is vice chair of the board. So as I'm sure many of you know, the Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the zoning bylaws for the town of Falmouth and considering requests for special permits, variances, and appeals as provided by those bylaws that have been approved by town meeting and by the Attorney General's office for the Commonwealth. And our decisions are made through a public hearing process. The goal is to hear full and fair testimony from the applicants and the public to allow discussion of the project prior to rendering a decision. So to begin each hearing, we'll have the clerk, and Ed, would you be willing to be the clerk for tonight? Our normal clerk, Kim Beelan, is not present tonight, so Ed Van Kuren will act as clerk. He will read the public announcement of the hearing and present any pertinent information from the files, such as referrals from town departments or summarized correspondence. And then we will give the applicant or the applicant's representative 15 minutes to present the project, and that time may be extended by vote of the board if more time is needed. And then the board will question the applicant or their representative, and then we will invite the public to comment. So if you have an opinion either in favor or opposition, we ask you to state that. Go to the podium. If you wish to speak, wait to be recognized by me, and then go to the podium. State your name clearly for the record, so the recording secretary, who tonight is Ashley DeMello, can get that in the minutes. And please direct your comments to the project. Refrain from making any derogatory remarks, obviously. If you have a question about the project, you're certainly welcome to ask that. We do ask that public comment be limited to just 2 minutes. If the board feels they have enough information, we will close the hearing. If we would like additional information, we might continue the hearing, have some discussion. If we close the hearing, we can't obviously at that point accept any new information. But if we close the hearing, we may discuss and then render a decision. A positive determination requires a supermajority vote of 4 in favor. Okay. All right, so with that, the first hearing tonight is continuation, and that is 004-118, Messer 190.
18.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said 118.
18. And that's Messer for 190 Goleta. And I am not on this, and so TJ will take over this hearing. And I don't think there might anything new in the file that.
Yeah, these are new.
There's revised elevations. The Messers are here to answer any questions the board may have.
Good evening, Marisha and Tom Messer, 190 Goleta Drive, Hatfield. I don't believe that we have much to add to what we've already given you, we have submitted everything to the planning board. We've received their recommendations, and so I guess we're open for questions if you have any.
Great. And just to confirm, you are in receipt of the site plan review from the planning board? Like
Yes,
you
we
said.
are.
Fantastic. We'll just turn it to questions if that's okay. Bob, do you want to start, if you have any at all?
The only question was in the basement. Are you still planning on putting the bath down in the basement?
The planning board made their decision based on, stipulated that we not have a bathroom down there. We want to ask if we can have a bathroom down there, because our upstairs bathroom is going to be rather small, and we'll need a walk-in, well, a roll-in shower for when we hopefully are still there as we age and maybe are in wheelchairs. And therefore, we would like to, if possible, to have an actual bathtub. We have a grandson and we have dogs who, both of whom require bathing, and we would like to be able to, with your permission, to have a bathtub down in the basement as well.
And I'll remind the board that a bathroom is considered non-habitable.
That's my only question.
I don't have any questions at all.
Not anymore.
And just to clarify about the basement, it will be unfinished?
Correct.
And as far as the unfinished portion goes, are you willing to have a deed restriction on record?
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware of this special permit that does go on record at the Registry of Deeds, but just in addition to that, we may or may not want a deed restriction as well.
And we would want plumbing down there for a washer also. I mean, I'm not quite
And you
sure
just
of that.
handled my follow-up question.
Okay, sorry.
Fantastic. So you are planning on having the
Yes,
washer
that's
and
for our
dryer
laundry
down there, and
room, or whatever you want to call it.
possible
would be.
full bath if that's
And possible full bath, correct.
okay. I think that does it for me. Anyone else have any questions, or Sari?
I do not.
Okay. I guess we can turn it to public comment if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns about the project. Does anyone out there have any? Okay, seeing none. The board like to discuss or perhaps close the hearing?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second it.
Okay, motion to close, second by Ed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Would you like to have some short discussion on this, or would you like to go straight to the vote?
I think we've seen the messes several times now, and
We have,
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything more to discuss. I think it looks fabulous.
right? And I know you've gone through more hearings with the planning board than you have with us, and I think this project looks fantastic in terms of in keeping with the neighborhood and also with the accessory apartment bylaw, how it's in keeping with the primary house, so I think everything looks fantastic.
Agreed.
Okay. Would anyone like to?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project as proposed.
Second it.
All right, so we will go on to findings. Does anyone want to start us off with that, or guess we can all chime in if we want?
I can't think of any.
Meets the bylaw.
Meets the
Yeah.
bylaw,
As
240-38I, I think is it?
The applicants are amenable to requiring that the basement be unfinished.
Mhm.
Deed restriction. I remind the board, you can make a finding that the bathroom is not habitable space and will not be counted
I think
as
that's
part of the
appropriate.
accessory. They revised the parking, the driveway, to be
Good.
able to park on-site.
And they're under 800 square feet
Yes.
Yes.
per the bylaw. I did notice in the planning board site plan, they passed off the nitrogen loading to us, and I don't think they're in a coastal overlay district, so that's
They are in a
fine.
coastal pond, but I'll remind the board that they are quite a ways away from an actual body of water,
Right,
and the Board of Health has not weighed in on that, and under 240-69E, excuse me, I apologize, 242-16E, the adequacy of the septic would be up to the Board of Health, and they are working on the accessory bylaw as well. So I recommend that a Title V, as they proposed, is sufficient,
fantastic.
but it is up to the board.
I think that's fine. And to go off of the septic 5, I think they had 4 bids existing, they're eliminating 1, but with the new proposed structure, it's going to be a total of 3.
Correct,
So I
and the
think
plans are in the
that's-
file that
Yeah.
supports that.
That's worth noting. Anything else? Owner occupied?
Meets the 240-38I bylaw as approved in the 2015 town meeting,
Okay.
2015 town meeting,
And
2017 town meeting. Where am I tonight?
any conditions per plan, and I guess
Deed
deed
restriction.
restriction for the unfinished basement? Anything else?
Are you allowing them to have the bathroom? I'd like to make a finding that you find that the bathroom is not habitable space and you are amenable to granting that.
I think they were requesting a full bath. I don't have a problem with it. Does anyone else?
No.
No way.
Okay.
And then they want to put a bathtub in.
Yeah. And hookups for a washing machine and dryer.
So proposed as plans and the board has no issues.
Right.
They've taken into consideration the planning board's site plan review. I'll make all those findings.
Certainly did. And just for the record, this vote does have to be unanimous, so it's the 4 of us. And I think we're all agreeing here, so if we're all set with findings and conditions, motion to approve was made by Paul, and that was seconded by Ed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Finally.
I'd like to say, we've spent a great deal of our lives in this field, and we just would really like to say publicly that we have so much respect and appreciation for the way that we've been treated by this board, and especially for everything that Suri has done for us in guiding us through this process. And we're very, very appreciative of everything that you have all done for us. So thank you very much. It hasn't been easy.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Okay. That brings us now to tonight's hearings, new hearings. The first of these is 010-18, Flaherty, 99 and 101 Grand Avenue, and this is a special permit to acknowledge that 2 dwellings existed as of 1959 and to alter the entryway of one of those buildings. Ed, you...
Okay, being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Francis and Michelle Flaherty of Brighton, Mass. applied for the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 24D, 243A, I'm sorry, and 243C of the Code of Falmouth to have town acknowledge the 2 separate dwelling units existing prior to May 19, 1959, and to construct a small addition to the existing entry of the pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling number F101 on subject property known as 99 and 101 Grand Avenue, Falmouth, Mass.
Excuse me.
Is there no comments from any of the town departments?
I'm late today because the
Yeah, we received.
engineering department, my
Oh,
computer I've lost a lot, and we were having issues. She didn't even get any emails for a while. When a member came in this afternoon and asked for photos, I did contact the engineering department, and those photos from 1950 and 1960 are in the file that showed 2 structures existed as additional evidence. And I'm sorry, John, I didn't send it to you. I didn't even think of it. I apologize.
is this the one that was a letter also from the butter?
Oh, there's a couple letters in there from abutters as well.
Okay,
Okay, great. So let's, I guess, begin.
Good evening.
With you, John Doyle.
My name's John Doyle. I'm a registered professional land surveyor, Falmouth, and I did this survey out here, so I'm talking for Francis and his wife Michelle. They're here in the back. It's gotta be them. We have applied for 2 things here under 240-3A and C. So under A, we're looking to demonstrate to you that this dwelling existed prior to May 19, 1959. I think I have the correct date there. And secondly, so that it would be determined that the dwelling was there and it comes with all the legal ramifications that go with such a building. And under C, we're looking to just do a very small addition to the entry platform at the front of the house. It wouldn't be habitable space, it wouldn't be indoor space, it wouldn't be covered by a roof. So let me at first say that these two dwellings are on, you know, a fairly small lot, but it's a typical lot of Falmouth Heights. I think it's 3,757 square feet. The buildings, for the most part, do not meet the setbacks, side, rear, or front. The lot coverage is quite high with respect to the limits in zoning. But as we come before you, we come as a pre-existing non-conforming use. It is connected to the town sewer. It was just recently connected to the town sewer. With respect to the A part of this, that is the house determination. We do have, I think the letters that you mentioned were letters I gave you, is that right?
Correct.
We do have letters from two abutters showing, one is from Jack Kremen of 12 Montgomery Ave. I knew Jack, he just recently, I think even in the last month, passed away. But that letter's from Jack indicating that how long he had been there. It was clearly before the 1959 date, and his thoughts on the property. And there's another one from Jim Brennan of 20 Hawthorne Ave, who I know has been there for ages as well. So those two copies of those letters, I put in the file and I gave to Sari, and these folks have the originals with them if anybody wants to see the originals. Also, I took the 1950 flyover, which is 9 years before this, the date of 1959, and I also blew it up. If you need to see these, you can, if you don't have them in your file, and I know that you referred to them from the engineering department. But it's interesting that they're both there and they're both still there. Up to the east there were tennis courts there when I was a kid, and it was run by Gov Fuller from Fuller Field, where they play the football down here. He actually lived there and ran those tennis courts. But we do have that as well. The houses have numbers on them of 99 and 101, even though when you go to the first thing you see when you open up the file on it and the assessors, you see 99. So they sort of put a label of 99 on these, but it's always had a number of 101 on the one that we speak of. Also, here's a building permit issued from the building department a few years ago, and they're issuing it for 101, not 99. Also, I can testify because this was on my paper route, this house, you know. So my family still owns 3 houses right around the corner on Montgomery, right on the street. So I knew the Miles who lived there at the time. I could tell you who lived in every single one of these houses for the next 2 blocks, because that was my paper route, and I can testify that it was there. And I think that we have substantive evidence that this dwelling has been there since that time. If you have any questions of that, I'd be happy to answer them or hear what anybody else has to say about that. But we think that it's pretty clear under A that we've demonstrated that through this material that the house was there prior to May 19, 1959. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that part of it, but I was going to continue on to the second part of it and show you on a plan that Columbo over here. But this, this is the brown around these buildings is the limit of the buildings now. There's a shed, a deck on this house 99. There's a little entry platform on the front of 101. We want to stay the same distance from the street and add on to that deck, just bring it flush with the end of the house, the west end of the house. It's only a 19 square foot addition. It won't have a roof over it. It'll be the same level, the same platform, the same step. We just thought it would make the house look a little nicer. And there is a flower box there, I think, hanging off the side of the building. We'd like to be able to have a spot to maybe put a couple of chairs or have the kids throw their flip-flops off there when they come from the beach, or, you know, put a plant vase out there or something like that. It's not a major addition to the house, but we hope you see it our way. I do have some pictures of the way it looks now, and I'm going to bring them over to you. Maybe you could pass them that way out, and I'll give one to Serene, she can pass them this way. You can see where I put a stake where we want that limit to be, that corner of that extended entry platform. And if there's anybody here for this hearing who wants to see this, certainly see it. It's not really, it doesn't look really significant, but I think I drew in some black lines across there, some horizontal lines where I think where it will come to and how far off the ground it will be. 19 square feet doesn't seem like a heck of a lot, and although we are, you know, we have pretty good coverage over there now. I think the coverage with structures is 35.57% now, and it's only going to 36.08 with the 19 added square feet. I think that's pretty much all I really have to say, unless you want to look at these overhead, the flyovers.
Well, let's see if anyone has questions for you from the board.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
for the record, Chairman Foreman, would you state that Mr. Dugan will be a voting member?
Yes, he'll be a voting member on everything tonight.
Okay, just for the record, we needed that stated.
And no questions.
Absolutely not. No questions.
I don't have any.
TJ, anything?
The existing shed in the rear, it's a 2.1 foot setback, that will be remaining?
It's going to remain there, yeah.
And during my site visit the other day, I was driving by Grand Ave to take a look at the front of the property, and looking at the map here, it does clarify the issue. I know there's only depending where you look, either a 5 foot setback off the front or 7.8 to 7.7 on the other house. You actually have a little bit more room to work with in terms of, really not to work with, but the edge of the pavement, Grand Ave, it's a 40-foot layout, but you do have some room out front, so it doesn't look like it's exactly 5 feet off the front.
Yes, the grass goes out quite a ways out to the edge of the pavement.
Okay.
There was a strip that was milled out that it's probably going to get put back, Francis, where they put the gas pipe through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I
that we demonstrated the first one, and I'm presenting the second one to you, and I hope that you feel the same way we do. We think that it will not be a detriment to the neighborhood. I think it's not trying to put more bodies in the dwelling. It's something that will just make it a little more flavorful.
Right. So ordinarily in these kinds of situations, we look for projects to become even a little bit less non-conforming. So I just wanted to ask a few questions about the need for the shed. What is the shed used for?
Well, I haven't been in it, but I'd like to have, maybe Francis could help.
Sure, he's welcome to come up and.
Tell me your name.
Hi, Francis and Michelle Flaherty, live in Brighton, Mass. And we own the house for about 13 years, I think now. I haven't done any changes since we bought it. Putting new windows and stuff, I think we permitted that way back when. But the shed, getting back to the question, the shed is just the lawnmower and garden stuff and all the furniture. The house is so small in the winter time, we can't put any garden furniture in there.
Mhm.
You know, there's no room, you know, especially it's a small house, very small.
Is there basement storage?
There's no basement there.
Okay.
It's only a crawl space, which is only about a foot tall or whatever, so very, very tight, you know. So that's about
Okay,
what the shed is.
well,
used
that addresses that.
for.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so if there's no further questions from the board, let's just see if anyone in the public wants to comment. Anybody else want to comment on this project, either in favor, opposed, or just with a question? Okay. Board discussion?
Simplest application I've ever seen
Ever?
in my life.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
It is a model
Yeah.
proposal.
in 50 years.
And you're only 45.
Yeah.
I would say that when I first talked with Francis too, one of the issues was to give more room going in and out that door, as you can see by the landing. So I think that would be, if this board approves it, that should also be part of the finding, that it's a very small stoop that you could fall off when you open the door. I think the size is increased according to the building code of what an entryway, he's a builder, so I'm looking at both of them, of what it should be, so.
So does this now meet, I mean, I can ask John that, does this now meet code? Is it prior to this, it did not meet code?
Dimensions, yeah. Yeah, that would meet code, yeah.
And currently it does not?
I would say it currently does too. That the wide side really doesn't matter. The shorter side would be going front to back, and we don't want to encroach on that because it would make it more non-conforming.
Right. Okay. All right, so if that's Robert's opinion, you have to add anything?
No.
I'm on board.
Okay. So I think we're all satisfied that we have enough information, so we ought to have a motion to close.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And aye. Okay, and now we are looking for a motion with findings.
I'll move to approve application 10-18.
Okay, TJ moves, is there a second?
I'll second it.
And Ed seconds. And you want to make any findings?
Sure. 240-3, the side, rear, and front setbacks will remain. The addition proposed for house number 101 will be no more encroaching on the front setback than it already is. The proposed front of 101, it's meant for an egress to meet current building codes. As far as 240-3C goes, with finding that beyond a preponderance of credible evidence prior to 1959, we have the Brennan letter stating that it was used as such since the 1950s. The Kremen letter also states the same. We have the 1950s aerial from the the engineering department. Let's see, we have the applicant's own representative stating that it was his paper route, and he could also testify to that fact. 240-216, I think it's also worth noting that they are connected to the sewer. The shed will be remaining, and testimony had it that it's for outdoor furniture.
And I think it's worth noting that there's no basement storage space, so that there's a need for this on the site.
And can I correct you, TJ, please?
Sure.
It's 240-3A for the preponderance of evidence, not 3C.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Wrong Wrong note.
Just to get the record straight.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? For condition, I mean, for findings?
Findings,
I think you did a
I think we might be good
thorough job. How
Okay.
about conditions?
per plans.
Per plans, okay. All right, ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
And aye. Very good.
Thank you, John.
Have our approval to
Well, you
proceed.
imagine the costs associated,
There was more findings on that than there was on the plan.
but the costs associated,
You can throw those photos in your folder.
the costs
John,
associated
don't
with
forget your
advancing
board.
this application.
Okay, that brings us to our next public hearing, which is 011-18, Gormley, 700 West Falmouth Highway in West Falmouth, a special permit to rebuild an existing shed.
Good evening.
What's up?
My name's
Hold
Jamie
on,
Wall.
hold on.
Okay.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A, the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that James Gormley of Canton, Massachusetts, applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240-3C of the Code of Falmouth to rebuild the pre-existing non-conforming accessory structure, excuse me, on subject property known as West Falmouth Highway. The standard comments from the engineering department. Look, this is from the historical, located in the West Falmouth Historic District, and will need a certificate of appropriateness if building in a new accessory structure. We have not received an application as of 2/21/18. And that's all the comments from the town departments. And, I guess there's no letters of,
There's no correspondence, Ed.
no correspondence.
Okay, now, for the applicant we have.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Gormley. What I'm trying to do is rebuild an existing shed that I have on the property and turn it into an office and bath, full bath.
Okay. And there was a special permit on this previously?
Yeah, I had just let it run out. I didn't have the money to do it. It was back in, I applied and got approved. It was in 2012. And I continued the permit out for, I think it was another year and a half, and I just gave up on it, which I probably shouldn't have.
And what you're proposing is
Same exact.
exactly the same?
Exactly.
All the dimensions and so forth?
Everything's the same.
Okay, let's see if anyone has any new questions for you.
Just, when they mentioned that certificate of appropriateness, did you make any application to historical?
It is not considered, and I'm going back 2013 now, it's not considered part of the historical district by 4 or 5 feet, because it's set back off the road.
That would be my only question. I know that's not our board, but I've just gone off the referral that was in the file.
It wasn't a question the last time. That's new to me on the historical.
Sari, do you have any
I can check
insights
the
into that
old
one?
file to see, the worst-case scenario, if the board approves it, just
He just has to get.
make a finding that if he's amenable to going to the historic district, he's going to have to have it signed off prior to a building permit anyway. That's the regulation, so.
I'm doing nothing to it to change it physically. It's going to look exactly the same.
Exterior
Exterior, yeah.
will be the same.
And it's not, as I say, it's not part of the historical. The house itself was built in 1750.
Yeah, I think the historic district line is not shown on the plan here.
The house is in the historic district, the shed is not.
Shed is
That's
not.
what you're asking.
Yeah, that's,
Yes, correct.
okay.
And like I said, it would be required to be signed off by the planning and historic before a building permit is issued.
Okay,
That's typical process.
No
My-
questions.
My only question was, the dormer that's shown on the plan, is that exist now, or is that something you're putting in?
Excuse me?
The dormer on the shed, does that exist now, or is that part of the renovation?
I had put that in, and I'm not even sure whether I'm gonna do it. I was looking at it, and it seemed like a real pain to do.
and that was in the earlier
That-
plan?
That was not in the original plan,
Okay.
but,
Just to get more light.
yeah, I don't even show that on the third drawing. I actually didn't know I submitted that.
Okay, that's it?
That's it for me, thanks.
No
All,
question.
nothing?
No.
Nothing.
TJ?
Quick question. You are proposing a bath in the shed. Are there any issues with the Board of Health in terms of septic and capacity for the Title V?
Already talked to them, talked to the plumbing inspector, electrical, building, everybody's on board with it.
Okay.
The Title V was done prior to me buying the house, and it was inspected for that.
Are there any cooking facilities proposed in the shed?
No.
Okay. Does it for me.
I guess the one-ish question I have is, and maybe you can explain why, you don't conform to the setbacks in the current location, and if you're going to be rebuilding from scratch,
No, I'm rebuilding the existing. I'm not.
is there a foundation?
There is not. I'm gonna be putting foundation down through it, though. Piers.
Right, but I'm just saying is there a reason why you couldn't relocate it so that, same dimensions?
It would probably fall apart. It's pretty old and beat up.
I'm not asking for you to relocate the existing structure, rebuild a new structure with the same dimensions, but conforming to the setback. That's what I'm asking.
Moving the entire building.
Moving the location of it, yes.
I haven't thought of that, no.
Would you be amenable to doing it?
I probably wouldn't do it, the way the yard is situated. I'd probably just leave the shed the way it is.
Are you raising, totally taking away the whole shed and redoing a new one? I think that's imperative that you explain that.
I'm using the existing frame.
There you go.
Ah,
He's rebuilding
Just
it, not
rebuilding the
raising and
existing
so
reconstructing.
you're taking off the
I'm gonna be
sheathing,
I'm not even gonna be removing the siding, hopefully.
You're not.
I'm gonna
I see
be
it
jacking
here.
up, getting some footings down below, rebuilding the floor, and then from there, putting in sheet rock and whatever.
okay, but you're using part of the existing building, you're not,
I'm using 90% of it.
all right,
Oh, okay.
that's different.
Windows, everything, everything's gonna remain
Okay.
the same.
All right,
Follow-up question for that.
sure.
Even if you were to move the shed, it looks like you may be encroaching upon
Up to the
the
septic.
reserve area for your septic, is that true?
Yes.
It
If-
would.
If it were to be, and
It would, yes,
to meet existing setbacks?
yes.
Okay.
The whole leaching field
If you
is
left
in
it.
the backyard there.
Excuse me, the reason why I couldn't administratively approve this is because it's 216 square feet.
It was 200, you
It
could
was
go.
200 in your procedures, which you just increased, but you haven't approved that yet. I did talk to the building commissioner about if he had an issue with it. He said he didn't, but if anything had changed at all, like the dormer or something like that, then he wouldn't have agreed with me.
Okay, all right, well, I think we have a better understanding of the project, thanks to
Sorry
your
for the confusion.
your testimony. Yep. Let's just see if anybody out in the public has any comments, concerns? Anybody? It's a quiet group tonight.
I have one additional, I have just a
Sure.
question for the applicant. Who referred you to the Board of Appeals in the first instance? Not to freshen this up, but way back when?
I went to Sari first.
Okay.
That's how everything else
Gladio
started. I
Court.
believe.
Yeah, the building commissioner must have referred you for a special
Oh,
permit,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I started with,
Right.
And so, okay, and
trying to remember the building commissioner.
and what was the reason?
Eladio Gore.
Gladio Gore.
But what was the reason?
Mr. Gore. The reason that I
Yeah, I
stopped.
mean,
Because it's non-conforming in setbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, but, I don't know, it just, to me, it just seems as though it would, these are repairs to an existing structure. If you're not increasing the dimensions, and I just don't understand why you're here, but I'm not the building commissioner and I'm not an expert.
I didn't want to start something.
Yeah.
And then get in trouble,
Yeah, it's just,
so I'm trying to do everything.
We appreciate that.
yeah.
do.
I'm just surprised you're here,
Because
but
sometimes people
It's
don't.
because it's
don't see it.
non-conforming and doesn't
Right. I know,
have
but-
space, so.
I would have given you a
You know,
permit.
well, you never know what the neighbors, or, I just wanted to do it right.
You
So
did
if
the
you're-
right
If you
thing.
live in Dartmouth,
Thank you,
you
sir.
would have gotten a permit.
That's right.
Okay. So I don't, there doesn't seem to be any input from the public. I think we've heard pretty good summary of the project from the applicant. Is the board ready to close the hearing?
Make a motion to close?
Second?
Ed moves to close, TJ seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and is there a motion to approve this project?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the project.
Okay, Paul moves to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by TJ. Paul, any findings? Other than that,
No, no, other than I don't know why you're here, but, so no, I couldn't find anything that, I can't make any findings on this because I'm
Try
I'm baffled you're
240-3.
here.
240-3.
I can help that.
sure, TJ, give us some findings.
240-3C, the side setback with the shed. Testimony had it, the shed will be for office space along with a bath. The applicant spoke to the Board of Health regarding the septic, and there seems to be no issue in terms of capacity. I think it might be worth noting, the shed is not located in the historical district, so there should be no issue with the historical commission. Testimony had it that a full raise and reconstruct in terms of moving the structure would encroach upon the septic reserve area.
Well, it's not a full raise and reconstruct,
Right, so, I mean, but if you were
right.
to,
but I think it's important to note it's not a full raise and reconstruct.
not.
It's simply a remodeling.
remodeling. But we did ask the question, if you were to fall within the setbacks today, it looks like he would be encroaching on that septic area.
He would be.
Yeah, unless he totally moved the location
Right.
to the more central. Then it would probably be in the historic district, so.
Right. Testimony had it, no cooking facilities. Other than that, I'm not sure if there are any other findings.
Meets 240-216.
240-216,
Okay, any conditions?
per plans and no cooking facilities?
Yep.
Don't have
And no
this guy.
creation, no, it is habitable space. No creation of a bedroom or sleeping accommodations.
Okay,
All right.
because I think there was, do I remember a letter expressing some concern about that? Yeah.
Not in this file.
No?
This one, no.
Okay.
That was another one.
All right, so I think we have a motion with findings and conditions. Are we satisfied, Sari, that you've got all that?
Yes,
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Any opposed? Nope. Carries unanimously. Off you go.
yeah. Good night.
Good night.
All right. So our third hearing this evening, new hearing, is Larkin and Fox, 34 Deacons Avenue, Unit 2, a special permit to remove existing deck and construction addition. This is 013-18. And begin by having,
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Alfred S. Larkin Jr. and Wendy E. Fox of Milton, Mass. Applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a modification of existing special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3C of the Code of Falmouth to remove existing deck and construct an addition increasing habitable space within the pre-existing non-conforming dwelling on subject property known as 34 Deacons Avenue, Unit 2. Standard comments from the engineering department. No comments from the rest of the respondent. And one letter of support.
there was some kind of review by the Conscom, I think.
It's an NOI administrative approval from Concom.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's hard to find how it's an approval, but apparently it is, because
It is an approval.
we,
We went through that at the office
Right.
today.
it's just that,
It's just an interesting form,
right,
let's just say.
doesn't actually say anywhere
Oh,
that it's approved. Just says they reviewed it.
Yeah,
And he signed it.
All right.
okay.
So I am taking a wild guess that Kevin Clower is here for the applicant.
I am. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Kevin Clower. I'm an attorney with Ahmet Clower Law Firm here in Falmouth, and I do represent the applicants, Alfred S. Larkin Jr. and Wendy Fox, and they're here with us tonight in the crowd, vast crowd that we have. This application does deal with 34 Deacons Avenue. This is located directly between Deacons Avenue and Grand Avenue, across the street from Falmouth Harbor. The lot is 11,969 square feet. It's located in the residential C zoning district, and the property contains 2 condominium units. This particular property has been the subject of a number of special permits over the years. In 1997, it was permitted as a condominium. Unit 2, which the applicants own, is 2 stories and contains 3 bedrooms and has a height of approximately 16 feet 1 inch. Unit 1 only has 2 bedrooms, but it does have a height of 24 feet. The lot also has a small shed and a total footprint of structures of approximately 3,349 square feet for a total lot coverage by structures of 28%. That lot coverage by structures of 28% is non-conforming, whereas the bylaw allows for lot coverage by structures of 20% by right and up to 25% with a special permit. In addition, the property is non-conforming as to the side yard setback on the northeasterly side, being 4.5 feet where 10 feet is required. The applicants are seeking permission to renovate the interior and the exterior of the structure. Specifically, they're seeking to make a small addition to the southwest side of the dwelling, which will increase the living space on both the first and the second floor. On the first floor, it'll create a family room, and on the second floor, it will increase the size of the bedroom there to a master suite. The number of bedrooms in the unit will remain at 3. The result of this is no increase to the existing nonconformities, no creation of a new nonconformity. The shed is proposed to be removed, and with that removal, lot coverage by structures is actually reduced to 27.6% from 28. The height of the addition will be in line with the existing ridge height, 16 feet 1 inch, and still significantly lower than Unit 1, which has a ridge height of 24 feet. This will increase and improve the interior space, improving the aesthetics of the building, the comfort, and the functionality for the applicants. Due to the existing nonconformities, this does require a special permit under 243C of our zoning bylaw. That section says that pre-existing non-conforming structures may be changed by special permit, provided they're not substantially more detrimental than what currently exists. The board is told to consider the standards of 240-216 and whether or not the alteration creates a new dimensional nonconformity, impairs views of vistas, and reasonably conforms to the neighborhood. As to this particular project, as I've noted with other similar projects, this dwelling was not non-conforming as to lot coverage until the lot coverage that was allowed was reduced in 2002 from 35% to 20%. Regardless as to that, the non-conforming lot coverage by structure is decreased, and it's decreased from 28% to 27.6%. The only other nonconformity, which is the side yard setback, remains unchanged. This does not create any nonconformities, it does not impair or impact any views of vistas, and it does reasonably conform to the neighborhood. There's no detriments to this project relative to the existing structure. There's no adverse effects. It lessens an existing nonconformity, and it meets the standards of 240-216. For these reasons, I would ask that you grant the special permit, and I'd be happy to address any questions you might have at this time.
Okay, let's see if there are any. TJ, you want to start?
Sure. Can you just confirm that the shed will be removed, and that's helping with the lot coverage, bringing you down to 27.6?
That is correct.
Okay. Any more questions?
So the only question I have pertaining to that is, this is a condominium? There's a second condo owner somewhere? And
I believe the letter of support was from that condo owner.
okay, I just was wondering how the rights work with respect to the shed.
I'm actually not sure who has the specific rights to the shed, but it was agreed, and the other owner is aware of the shed being removed. Hasn't objected to it.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
No.
Just one question on the plan. The family room in the back shows a set of sliders, but it doesn't show any kind of stairs
I believe it's bluestone pavers that it's going to step down.
that will be on there. Will they need to reflect that on the plan at all, or
It's a paver, it's landscaping, no?
no? The only question.
I did have one other question. There's a large tree next to the addition being added. Is that going to be able to be preserved?
I think they'll take every effort to preserve it.
Okay. All right, that probably does it for the board, yes? Anybody else want to have a question? No? All right. It's a very controversial project.
Controversial night.
Yeah.
Let's keep this train rolling.
You have someplace you want to go?
I got to go to the precinct meetings. I live an exciting life.
That's true, that's true. Okay, so I think if the board's satisfied they have enough information, I'd certainly be happy to entertain a motion to close.
Make a motion to close the hearing?
One second.
Okay, Ed and TJ, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and if the board is so inclined to approve this project, then we could entertain a motion to approve.
Anyone?
Or do you not want to approve?
This is unexpected.
Come on, you're all voting members, somebody.
Yeah,
Make a
I'm supposed to
motion.
be chairing, you guys are supposed to make the motion.
Nobody wants to do the findings, that's what
That's
it
the
is.
problem.
I'll move to approve.
All right, TJ's moving to approve.
I'll second it.
Ed's seconding. You're supposed to be making little notes about the findings as you go. Findings.
240-3C, the side yard setback will be remaining. Lot coverage was at, I believe, 28%. It'll be reduced to 27.6. Is it also worth noting that the previous lot coverage before, I think it might be,
I always do that.
You
Slightly
do.
higher.
it was
I
slightly
always put it in the
higher.
findings,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it
so
was
there's a-
conforming until 2002.
Mhm.
Might also be worth noting that there's several pre-existing special permits.
There are.
I'm sorry?
There's several pre-existing special permits, I think 94, 95, 97, 98,
There's
99.
5 of them.
Shed will be removed. The addition will be enclosed on the first and second floor. It also enhances the utilization of the property for the applicant. Concom, they're seeking administrative approval. The proposed addition will meet the existing ridge height of that side of the house. Anything else?
I think what Saria and I determined was that they have the approval, correct?
Yes,
Oh,
they
I'm
do
sorry,
have an
They
approval.
do have the
Yes.
island approval, okay.
Yes. 24216?
24216.
Okay,
I think we're okay.
good, conditions?
Do you want to put in the findings that the co-owner of the property is in support?
Since it's a condo unit, sure, absolutely.
And apparently is supportive of the removal of the shed.
Yes.
Okay. And then for conditions
Per plans?
or plans. And then, I mean, I saw a condition in one of the earlier special permits I liked, which was that the conditions of prior special permits apply.
Yes, you cannot derogate from previous special
Right.
permits, that's a standard.
Right. All right.
That's appropriate due to the amount of
Except as
special permits on the
stated,
property.
except as stated herein,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay? I think it's nice when the last, whatever the last special permit is, affirms all the prior special permits, so that you can explicitly see that. Okay. That it?
Yes.
Board satisfied with that motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sari, you're happy?
I am.
As happy as you get?
Well, let's not go there.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And aye.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so, the last special, public hearing tonight, 018-18, which is Kuchkarian, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, 291 Main Street.
Kucharian, I think, or
Kuchkarian is how it's spelled.
Kuchar-
I believe there is a request to withdraw without prejudice.
Correct.
So I guess we need to vote approval of that, right? So you probably don't need to, I mean, hand it out, and unless it's, yeah, you want
I'm going to read this.
to, sure, why not?
Okay, to the zoning board, please accept this letter as a request to withdraw from the above referenced special permit application without prejudice.
Okay.
Do you want to, okay, you didn't read the notice into the file.
No, you want that?
You should, for the record,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Sorry.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11, Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Kazar Kuchian of Watertown, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240-105 of the Code of Falmouth to allow a change in use from retail to a restaurant on subject property known as 291 Main Street, Falmouth.
Okay. So
That's
we
all you
just,
need to do, Ed.
so we just need a motion to accept their request to withdraw without prejudice.
I will move to allow their request to withdraw without prejudice.
Second.
Okay, TJ and Ed, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That concludes all the hearings. And now we're on to the open meeting, and I guess we have the minutes of March 15th. Has everyone had a chance to look at these?
Yes.
Yes.
Was I here? I don't think I was
No,
here
you
on
were not.
March 15th. Okay, would someone like to move to approve them?
Make motion to approve minutes of 15,
March 15th,
March 15th.
2018.
Okay,
2008.
and Robert, you second?
Sure. Second.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
And I am abstaining.
4-1. TJ, would you please sign those?
Sure.
And just put a line through the other name?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not here.
Not a problem.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have an administrative decision
Request for board's administrative approval.
to remove a special permit and covenant for an accessory apartment under 510-8 -03.
451-03.
Yes, 451. Project 50. So this was approved in '03, is that what happened?
Yes, this is an accessory apartment that was before the board in 2003 for an accessory apartment, and they, like other ones who are finding out about the by right bylaw now, is asking for the special permit to be removed on the property.
Okay, and that, currently that permit requires that the apartment be affordable, but now that will not be the case?
It was pursuant to 24038I previously. I don't believe a covenant was filed on this one.
Okay. Anything more we should know?
No, it had to go through the board's approval for the old bylaw, which is approximately the same as the new bylaw. This was created within the structure.
All right. Okay. So I guess what we need then is a motion to, let's see, what do we say? We remove the special permit? Yeah? Okay, who wants to make that motion?
I'd like to make a motion to administratively remove the special permit associated with the accessory apartment.
Administratively approved to
Administrative.
remove the existing special permit from subject property.
Exactly.
There's no covenant like it says here.
I did not see one. There was not one in the file in '03.
I'll second
Okay, any further discussion on the motion before we vote?
it. Not having.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimously approved. Procedural rules and policies, we met and talked about these the other day.
Yep,
Yeah.
You like that?
And
No.
I
should've
asked
come.
Kimberly if
and
she
then flown back.
Have
is
had
up to
it.
date, so hopefully we'll have
Yeah,
them
so
for the
Kim-
next meeting.
So Kim was going to take all of our suggestions and actually change the text. So we're
Correct.
waiting for her. Any future agenda items? Hearing none.
I will ask the board to remember that this is April, and I believe,
But not April 1st.
who is it that's up? Is it you, Ed?
That's me.
The UTJ?
Mm-hmm.
You need to get a letter by May to be reappointed. Please get it to the selectmen. Do you intend to keep?
I'll put it on my personal agenda to
Thank you,
forward
sir.
along a letter.
Okay, so that's
Very
just a
good.
reminder to the board.
All right. All right, if there's no further business, meeting adjourned?